Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome wherever you are in the world. This is USA Global TV and Radio. We proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is coexistence and sustainability. Our topic is connecting with your pets, insights from pet psychic Aminah. So wherever you are in the world, thank you so much. Please do subscribe to our channels. We are on a mission to get to 100,000 subscribers. And as of today on our USA Global TV and Radio channel, we have 47,188, an increase of 4,026 in the last 28 days. Thank you, everyone. And on my personal channel, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, we have 22,751. We're up 7,688. Without further ado, let's welcome the star of our show. She's joining us from California in the United States of America, where we are about to celebrate the Labor Day weekend. She is a pet psychic. She's also a professional speaker. She is also someone who can help you with training your pets. And she's somebody who really cares about this planet. Pet psychic Aminah, come on out.
I don't know if I can get it more out than this.
Who do you have there with you today?
This little teeny tiny princess is our latest rescue. My daughter and I went to the shelter, and she was there all by herself. No mommy, no brothers and sisters, and herself. She's not very big. Right now, she's very fascinated with my zipper and my jacket, and she cleaned my entire half of my face. Doesn't it look so much better?
Love is in the air, that is for sure.
I know, but you see, she's just a little bitty
yes.
thing. She's just a little bitty
Quite
thing.
Beautiful, beautiful eyes.
Yeah, and we have 3 other rescues in our house. Much more mature and large, and they love her to death. Everybody knows you worry about it when you have a second child. You worry about it when you have a second dog or a second human or a new boyfriend. And then is this cologne going to offend? It's always that risk. Now, we already rescued these 3 other cats, and bringing a little one in is a complication for everybody. Because will the poop actually make it into the litter box, or how will they get along a personality? She's just building her personality. And as you can see, she's very loving. Honest, I didn't pay her to do this. She came up right as the music went on, and I said, okay, I guess you're joining the show. So
that's
just
fantastic.
So you guys know, I get to try out all my theories on all the animals and say, hey, how's this working? So she is very rambunctious. She's really fun. So one of our kitties is very old. So you need to know what animals you do have. And I mean who they are, who's inside. What do they like? Do they like to chase balls or no? Are they terrified of the wind going by? Maybe. So when you know that kind of stuff, it's really important. Dr. Jacalyn, did I just lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to switch up. My computer went to a whole ad, and I was like, I got enough things on my hands. But as you can see, she's not very, very big. She is been, of course, weaned away from her mom for some time, which is a risk to their health. So remember, good food, not the cheapest thing you can find. Then don't get a pet. because it's the same thing with you and I, right? Our hair looks terrible, our skin looks terrible, we get grumpy all the time, or we have terrible headaches. A second pet is a lot more. This is actually our third or fourth. So remember, when you adopt, you're taking on a life, and she could live a good 15 years. Just depends on how we go.
Yes, and it's so apropos that you have her here because today's topic is connecting with your pet. So obviously you are very connected with her. And I do know that sometimes people get a pet, maybe it is a rescue, and then they feel like they're not able to really connect with their pet for various reasons. So what are some of the things you can share with our audience that people should consider before they even go out and get a pet?
Absolutely. This is the pivotal question and answer is, what kind of time do you have for what the animal you're looking at? So if you're going to have a bunny in a cage all the time, it's not a very good life for the bunny, but also there's a amount of time you need to spend with that. A fish, not gonna care. You just keep the water cold or hot or food. A dog is a pack animal. This is the difference between your dogs and your cats. Your cats can live on their own by themselves, get their food, kill the birds, too many out there. That's a whole nother show. That so many people let their pets run around wild, and they're like, oh, somebody else will pick up their poop. Well, who's somebody else? What's their name? Somebody else. Okay, because we've all run into that pile of dog poop. And that's a whole nother show I love to have with you and I really quickly, is it's not biodegradable. That's my whole take on it. You're feeding processed food. They're not eating deer and mice all the time and steak or something. So remember, it doesn't biodegrade in any amount of time that not the entire neighborhood gets to enjoy it, step on it, walk around it. Cats are a lot cleaner. They do bury it. But again, if you're having a cat, they are probably eating processed food that is made by some kind of pet company. That's not a bad thing, as long as there's enough minerals and vitamins. But does it biodegrade? No. I would bet you, I haven't tested this, I promise, all the things we eat. We eat a lot of organic fruits and vegetables. Does that mean I should go out and just let it go and not worry about using a toilet? No. Having that clarity of where bacteria come from, where disease comes from, how is it passed? Well, if you saw already, this lovely little girl has licked my face at least two or three times while we've been on the show. And cats have a very comby, it's like a comb of a tongue, and that's how they stay so groomed and wonderful. But luckily, she's so calm right now, and I guess I'll let her sit here on the show. I, of course, am a huge advocate of getting your pets from shelters. They need that loving home, and that's where we found her and said, nope, this is the right one for us. And we have another black cat. And she just loves chasing him around. And he's probably about 8 or 9 right now, Jackson. And everybody is getting aware of everybody else's limits. We have one female cat, don't want anything to do with bouncing and playing. So we kept the kitten at a distance from her. Now, for the first 48 hours, of course, the kitten stayed in a separate room. So we made sure everybody, not only did she have no disease that she was passing to the other animals, and they had time. If you don't have the bandwidth or the ability, or you just don't want to do all these steps, then please think about having a different kind of pet. There's fish, they will not care if you never take them for a walk. I promise. All the rest, you have a degree of responsibility, even fish. You've got to keep that water warm, cold, salted, whatever you've gotten. So what's really nice, if you can see, I don't know if you can see this, Dr. Jacalyn, she has just curled up on my, what's over the dining room table.
Well, the joy on your face really says everything. So, thanks for sharing some of those tips about what to consider before you actually purchase a pet.
Yeah.
Now, what if you have already purchased the pet and there's some issues in the house? Maybe issues with your children or issues with your spouse or just maybe behavior issues. Let's look at them separately. Let's first look at if you're having behavior issues with your pets, what can
Yeah.
be done in that case?
Well, and with this lovely little girl, we did have the same thing. She went around pouncing on everybody, and she's little. She's really little, but she's really got an attitude. She's gonna fill in just fine here. Maybe that's not the great personality for you. And when you bring them home, you get to see that animal's personality really coming through. They're no longer, in their best effort and they took you out to dinner or any of these. Not the dating situation. Animals will become and do what they want. If you are not educated and or want to pick up even a book out of the library and say, okay, I have a cat, dog, frog, whatever your animal is, and they're this old. The person who gave it to me thinks they're this old. What do I need to expect in let's say just the next 6 months of their life? Animals age differently than people do. They have a much longer life typically, and that means good food, clear water, and exercise. Animals that are pack animals, I'm talking your dogs specifically, they want to be with their pack, and you should be the pack leader. And maybe you switch off and you're the dad and they're the mom of humans, and you don't necessarily have people bodies and children, but somebody in that is going to set down the rules. Do you want your cat scratching up your furniture? No, I don't even want her to put her nails into my blouse. How do you go about that? Dr. Jacalyn, I came up, I'm sure I didn't invent it, some really creative ways to keep the cat's nails. Now, we trim them. If you don't know how to do that, there are a lot of vets that do workshops, and they will teach you how to even administer at some of the vaccines that are just over the counter. You can get them at a shop. They have a schedule. Make sure you do it here. It's usually between the shoulder blades. Cat can't lick it off. Dog can't lick it off. All of these types of, there's tips all over the place. Also, give yourself and the animal time to adjust. Don't be in a hurry to just adopt any animal. Oh, I'm here to adopt an animal. We're going to save their lives. Well, that's great. But all shelters usually have time for you to go into their enclosure and just sit with them. Find out who they are. Do they want to play right away? Are they afraid of you? Did their fur, puff out? Well, that's not a good sign. That's a real saying, I need to look bigger because you scare me. Slow the way you speak down. I always talk pretty fast. And with a new animal, nope, I almost don't talk at all. Because what an animal's doing is checking your DNA by how you smell and where you've been. They can tell if you went and walked in a park and the grass stuck to your shoes. All you have to do is just calmly take time. I think we all get in too much of a hurry. Oh, I'll take that one. They're cute. And then they chew on all your furniture. You're like, well, that didn't work. I'm going to just take them back to the shelter. Animals that go through the process of being returned to the shelter tend to really have a tough time because they thought they were getting a family, they were getting a pack if it's in your dog and the cats. It's really, really traumatic for the animal also, not just us. So please, when you adopt, do it on purpose. The shelters always let you go in, sit with the pet, all of that kind of stuff. If you have children over 8, 9, 10, you have to check with the shelter on their rules. Have your family go there. Maybe help clean out the cages so that your children and everybody's understands, okay, somebody's got to clean the litter box. if you want the house to stay clean and no disease, you have to clean the litter box. We have now, what does this make, our third or fourth cat here. And so we have it on this top stair, top of our stairs in one of the bathrooms. We have actually litter in my room, and my daughter has litter in there. So the cats don't have it go very far. We've not given them any reason to, can't get there. And of course, there's one in the bathroom downstairs. What really is important is time with the pets. It's really great when they come up to you, but I had to dodge one of the cats while I was setting up my computer because she kept saying, no, I want you to sit over here. And I'm thinking, no, I need to sit at the table where I'm working. Know to have patience. It's the same thing when you go into, let's say, a new job. Dr. Jacalyn, I don't know you, we both probably had tons of new jobs. And then we were there for 20 years or 15 years or doing that around those people. You needed to find out how everybody communicates. Some people are very shy or very quiet and recluse or love to just send you a memo over the computer. And some people want to, as they do, stand around the water cooler and chat. Can everybody get their work done? Sure, if they manage their time well. So this is how we're getting to, is she's very jumpy and she's very active. And the neat part is all our pets are going, okay, this is what we're doing. So our oldest cat happens to be black also. And he tends to, once in a while, he'll stop, he'll push her and he'll go, enough, because she's trying to jump on his back. And he's at least 2 to 3 sizes, at least 3 sizes bigger than she is. And Jackson is also probably the oldest pet that we have had. And it's wonderful to see that we made between my daughter and I, we are always making sure, especially she's been with us about a week now. So when she was first here, those first 3 or 4 days, really kept our eye on her. First of all, we have no idea what her experience is being in a house. We don't want her to poop anywhere or urine anywhere that she shouldn't. And that is, again, why we have on our tri-tier condo, we have the first floor has a litter box in the bathroom. Second floor, there's a litter box up there. And then it's in one of our bedrooms. So everybody has access because animals get sick too. And I don't just mean throwing up. Fur balls is a whole nother show. But you need to be aware that they do throw up fur balls. That's how they're grooming. Is it safe for pets to be licking you? I'm going to say please limit that as much as you can because you don't know if you have a scratch or a sore or something and they happen to, I don't know, go out and eat a mouse or something that we don't know and have all the information until you already you're going to the doctor because that little bitty cut ended up getting infected because the animal licked it, and a cat can lick themselves, and the bacteria is all the same. That's not true from cat, dog to person. So please be really careful. You don't maybe know you have a cut or a sore, and your dog comes up and kisses you and licks you all over. Their tongues are pretty sanitary. But we all know there are pets that will eat their feces or they will throw things back up. Just don't go there. Please stay healthy.
All right. Excellent points that you made. So we were talking about if you have a pet and you have some behavior issues. Now, what if the pet unfortunately has a lot of health issues? This can be quite costly.
Very.
You advocate for pet insurance? I don't even know if they still have it, but when
they do more than ever.
Okay.
When you and I were having our dogs, remember we've talked a million times about you and I are doing dogs, and I adopted a shepherd that again was dumped in a yard. We happened to be buying that house. You really need to be careful on cleanliness. Cats, wonderful thing, but guess what? You're the person in the house. You need to provide not just a litter box and the litter in there. You got to clean it. I can't tell you how many people I know was just like, oh, the sand, they'll do it again and do it again. Okay, think about this. if you're going to go to the bathroom on like we do toilets and you're just never going to flush that because you'll get to it later, well, that's disgusting because it's building up all the germs. Okay, I don't know if people realize humans are pretty much one of the worst germ beings walking around. It's not only that we don't have the depth of cleanliness that animals come with. I mean, anytime you've ever seen a cat, yeah, there's a grooming fest half the day, and their tongue is rough because it's the comb. They're going to clean their bottom, they're going to clean their hair and everything. Why sometimes you might, with your dogs and cats, not want them to lick your face? What happens if you have a little cut that you don't know about? And your dog or cat does what they normally do, came up and gave you a big old slobbery kiss? You could get a really, really bad infection. And I promise it probably will hurt because it's open when it goes into an open wound. Am I saying don't ever let your pets kiss you? No, but be really, really careful. For her, she's really, really, very, really loving, licking us every time we pick her up. But I'm okay with it if she does my hand, and that's usually what's closest to her, not my face, because I know this could turn into something that I have to go see a doctor about and say, oh, the cat kissed me. I don't really want to do that. And then go buy on antibiotics. Antibiotics in this day and age is not used as much as when I was young and Dr. Jacalyn, you were young, because we overused it. And a lot of doctors nowadays, I know I sliced my hand open it had been about 2 years ago when I did it. And I'm building something outside, and it just kept bleeding. So finally I had the doctor to look at it because it was getting hot, warm, stuffy. And she's like, okay, well, we really don't want to put you on antibiotics because they're way overused. And God forbid you need to go to have surgery or emergency surgery or something, and your body is already completely looking at that pill going, yeah, I'm not going to help you with that one. So everything needs to be in some kind of small quantity. Pet your cats, absolutely. Maybe don't encourage the kissing. That's why I gently just push her away and say, no, I'm good. And luckily she just fell asleep on my dining room table and at the desk and is doing really well. But that's something that she came with. It's nothing we taught. She likes to come up and lick us all. So we're trying to get her, go lick the other cat. And if they'll let him or her, this is her, and we have the him and a her and cats, then that's between them. Always make sure you're keeping boundaries, not only for health and safety, but for her first 4 or 5 days here with us, we were always, a person was with the cats when she was introduced. And then we actually had her in one of their bedrooms so she could close the door, do what she's doing now, and just sleep so that she could acclimate to the new house. She's never been in a house before, and other animals. Remember these steps. Any of this is kindness, a way to show love, and to have your pet with you far longer than maybe you thought you could. This little kitty could live 30 years. I don't know that. I could live 15 years. I had a German Shepherd that was supposed to be with me for almost 20 years. And he was a trained guide dog. He was trained for a whole bunch of things. And he got an infection. And we ended up having to say goodbye. And it was terrible. And all it was is he ran in some of the fields that I didn't see everything. And foxgloves, if you guys don't know what these are, they're little thorns that fly off of trees. That's how they move and get planted. And pets, believe it or not, there are more pets. And I'm thinking about the last time I looked at the numbers. So not recently, but last year and the year before. What they are, they're little thorns with a head and like wings, and they burrow into the body. So once it's in there, it's almost impossible to get out without major surgery. And it causes a great deal of death and illness to the pet. So be careful out there. If you're going to go for a walk, take a brush and clean and brush through your cat, dogs, whatever you're walking animal, so that you can see what's in there and maybe get it out before it burrows in. And foxgloves do that. They're set up with little horns and little point, and they burrow in. That's how they bury themselves and grow more plants. But if you see a whole field that looks like it's with like corn, weed, or weeds, don't take your animal for a walk there. Not unless you are up on a path and never walking in the dirt. And if you do end up running around in the park and or wherever in that time, brush your animals down when you come in. It's really that simple to really be able to feel through their fur, but also make sure you can dislodge the foxgloves before they burrow in under the skin. Because after that, you can't see that until it's a problem. And then I mean a life and death problem. I don't want to scare anybody. I want to be real always. And this is what I'm telling you. Foxgloves will kill, and you won't know it. If it goes through their skin, there's no way to see that. And no way, I can't imagine the doctors and the vets can do much about it, because it won't show up on an x-ray. It's just a little seed. So be careful out there.
Watch where you walk your pets. Absolutely. Just like you watch where you yourself walk. So just
exactly, especially if you're in a sandal, right? So think about it. Your dog's in sandals.
Right. And much lower.
They go right through the toes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about when it comes to taking care of your pets, about the paws on the animal? How should they be taken care of?
Well, again, you need to always, what I do, let me see if I can do this on this poor little sleepy girl. I get them when they're this age, and I take my thumb and put them in the middle of her pad. And what is she doing now? She's like, I don't know what she's doing, but it doesn't hurt. So she just ignores me. And again, remember, we've only had her for a couple of weeks. So you want to, especially after a walk, after you've been someplace that you don't know, a friend's house, or the dog decided to take its own vacation and run around the neighborhood, you want to pull the ear back, look inside. This is the places foxgloves love, and many other terrible plants that will cause a very, very large vet bill and or death. Oh, look, I got a necklace. So what you want to do is always check through the ear. And if it's all caked up and cruddy, okay, you need to wash that. And what you can do is ivory soap. Everybody have ivory soap? Probably not, but I bet you can get some. They sell it at many, many, many stores. And why I'm saying one brand is because ivory soap has a bar. Now they have tons of other kinds with lavender and everything else that a lot of them have. That is neutral pH. And it is, when you get, not the smelly one, just plain old white ivory soap. It has such a great cleaning ability with the soap, but it also doesn't have anything in there that should make your cat sick. Remember, what does a cat do, Dr. Jacalyn, right after it gets wet?
Licks itself.
Everywhere. Exactly. It's like, okay, I got the water, I'm going to take a clean. So you don't want your pets to eat it, or, because that's not what soap's for. I don't care how many parents, when we were younger, I don't know if you had this hanging over your head, but I had heard stories about parents shoving soap in children's mouth when they wouldn't stop talking about things they shouldn't. I'm thinking, oh, that sounds really terrible. So you don't want to have your pets eating soap or licking the ground. It's all great to build, I guess, some kind of immunity. But when you have an indoor pet, that immunity is built in with the love and house. And everybody says, some people say, oh, how can they live? It's so boring. No. You might be bored. They are looking at, wow, look at this big old giant space. I did not go over and get this little kitty because I knew she was sleeping. And all of a sudden, right before we locked on, I was like, oh, okay, I guess we have a visitor just for this channel. And what's on hold? And you see she's really fall sideways. Know the animals you have, know the ability, the finances, and your time. Now things will change. I was a college student when I had a couple of my first pets, a lot more time on my hands. And then then I was working full time, and then I'm a mom. Get an animal that maybe doesn't need you 24/7. Cats are perfect for that. Dogs, in other words, are great pack animals. Remember, you're dealing with a pack animal. They want to be with the rest of the pack. So always check what nature created. I can't stress that enough. If you're going to look at a hamster, a lizard, a spider, whatever you love as pets, remember to look up what their life was or should have been if they were wild. And that's going to be the happiest pet you ever had when you can basically reenact that type of thing. Are you going to dress in costumes, or does that mean you always have to take your dog for a 90-mile run because he's a running breed? Maybe this little one had dietary issues because she was born in the wild in somebody's garage and was brought to the shelter, and we weren't sure if we were going to need to have to quarantine her away from our other cats or not. Well, the vet came, gave her a clean card, and said no, she should be just fine. And she's figuring that out. And our big kitty's having a great time with her because he doesn't usually get to roughhouse with everybody because he's the biggest. Okay, now I got to get my clothes back. So hopefully that answers a lot of questions for people.
Yes, I think that definitely does. And then I think the last topic I'd like to touch on briefly is when you have an aging pet. What's the difference in how you care for a pet that is in the last chapter of the pet's life?
Well, I hope everybody looks at it as the Big Bang Theory, as the TV show goes, where you now talk to your vet. I'm not saying let's have ice cream every day. We're not trying to rush the end of life, but always remember this is a sentient being who has love, has hate, has fear, and needs us because we have taken them out of the wild, which is where they would have cared for themselves. And they're with you. How can you make every day, this little one gets this one life? And she can be a real pain in the neck because she likes to sit under the coffee table and swat everybody that goes by. Now, she doesn't use much of her nails, but the other cats are getting kind of tired of it. You need to have somebody who can back you up so you can have a day off from your kids, fluffy or not. But also, you need a vet. A veterinarian and their staff will be your biggest cheerleaders if you got the right one. They will help you through, I left a blah, blah, blah piece of meat, whatever mold on the counter, and it's not there anymore. How do I know if my dog, cat, whatever ate it? Is this, do we wait for the fever? That's usually too late, just so you know. And or do I rush them in, but I don't know if I can afford it? These are conversations that vets have all the time and their staff. And it's free to call one. The first thing you need to do is find somebody you like working with. And the best way to find a referral, Dr. Jacalyn, what is the best way to find a referral of any kind?
Google
your neighbors. Go on the computer. Talk to your friends. Make friends with the next door neighbor. I did this, it was yesterday or the day before. One of my neighbors lives down the corner. I can see him from my kitchen room. And he is also some kind of mechanic of some kind because they're always putting in tools, taking out tools, and a big truck. So I and a young woman I was working with Well, let's go ask him. We need to know about this bull trap, something we were building. And he was just great. He and his son said, oh yeah, no, don't get that one and go hit that store. People are busy, yes, and they can possibly say, I go get that, hey, can I just have your phone number and I'll get back. Some people do and some people don't. Animals have tons of resources. If you need support, I'm here on this channel. Dr. Jacalyn has given me this fabulous platform, and you can send us questions and we'd be glad to answer your questions. There's also a plethora of things on YouTube. Your vets are truly big on resources because they want you to have a good experience. And then if you have a neighbor or somebody, especially if you haven't met them, and they have a dog or cat, that's a wonderful resource. And guess what? Then you maybe made a new friend.
Yeah, great advice. Always talk to people around you. Even this might sound crazy, but you could even go to your local vet and ask people who are coming out of the vet's place, hey, how was your service? How were you treated? How's your pet treated? We're actually showing your website, which I think is important because it's a great place for people to go. There's a ton of relevant information here. First of all, let's look at the first thing, which is your email address, bridgingworlds2018@gmail. Then you've got all your social links here, and you're really very active on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then you've got some of the shows here. And you also have the way that people can work with you and a little bit about your background. So people can book a reading right here. And then here's the information. So you can work with anyone anywhere, right?
Absolutely. And I have. I'm very, very fortunate because my gift, the psychic part, that just was part of who I was born to. Dr. Jacalyn, you haven't heard this in a while, but for everybody listening, I just thought everybody talked to their dog and their cat in the walls and the clovers. And I had a lot of time on my hands some days with a busy family and being the youngest. So remember, I'm not the person for everybody, but I'm doggone gonna show up and say, I don't know as much as this topic as I think you need to know. Let's find this expert. Let's do this together. And I can at least refer you and help out as best I can. Because it's better, right, Dr. Jacalyn? You are a wonderful coach and do all these wonderful things and have brought us, everybody who's on this channel with us. And you never leave us hanging to say, oh, go look it up. Mm-hmm. We always all had a teacher or a parent or somebody who was tired and just said, no, go look it up yourself. I'm like, really? How do I look up a word I don't know how to spell? Do you remember those years?
Yes.
The teachers always telling us.
Yes.
And I have people in my family life that are from another country. So it was hilarious when I was getting to know my husband and they would say, I can know you. And I'm like, no. And he's like, but there's a K. And I said, welcome to English. So your pets are the same. The point is, she could be speaking French as far as I know. I don't know French. So when you take time, watch, listen, hug, forgive yourself, and then get on the pony again. And if the pony throws you off, you go, I got to get a tighter belt. Meaning a whole thing on top of the horse. Get a better seat. Just get a better seat, and you'll get through. And you know what? I think Dr. Jacalyn, you probably agree with me. The hard times where we've lost loved ones. I know I've lost my parents. You've gone through the same thing, and we miss them terribly. But we also know they're no longer in pain. They no longer need doctor's appointments. They no longer can't remember who they are. Or whatever the hardship was towards the end of their life. Remember that not everybody's supposed to be here for 25, 35, 75 years. And the time we do have them, we hug them.
Yes.
Look at Jesus leave again.
Which is a great segue to the topic today. We were discussing connecting with your pets, insights from Pet Psychic Aminah. Thank you so much.
You must have read the line.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this platform. And and be able to share our brand new baby.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. She's definitely a sweetie. Well,
She
we're
is.
signing off for now. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. We do have our next show coming up, which is Royal Breaking News from London.
Ooh,
And we
fun.
actually have new shows on Saturdays and Sundays as well. So we're
Oh,
streaming 7 days a week. So check us out. Thank you
absolutely.
again.
Now, promise, do something for yourself.
Yes, I will. Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.